Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are going to take a look at my most anticipated Savage Strike figure in a very, very long time. This is the Scutosaurus, and it's one that I have been so insanely impatiently awaiting an opportunity to own, and I just could not find it at all anywhere in my area, and in fact, pretty much my area has been just deceased as far as Savage Strike figures go, except for like really old stuff that I can still find from time to time at Target, but new stuff as far as Savage Strike and Attack Packs go, non-existent. So I want to shout out to my buddy John Saculo, who was awesome enough to hook me up with this and quite a few of the other newer Savage Strike figures. So again, thank you so much to my good friend John for helping me acquire this when I couldn't find it in my area. So again, the packaging is pretty much your usual standard Mattel packaging as far as these Savage Strike figures go. Then on the back we've got a shot of our Scutosaurus and it kind of showing off its action feature a little bit there. This figure is absolutely beautiful. Not even taken out of the packaging or anything quite yet, which, I mean, you can clearly still see the figure quite nicely within the packaging, but you never truly can tell how much you really like a figure until you have it in hand out of the packaging and just bare bones looking at it. But honestly, I am already in love with it before I even disconnect it from its little cables here. So let's go ahead and actually break it out and then take a look at it from there. So here is our absolutely beautiful Scutosaurus. I think the one thing on top of the really nice looking sculpt work that we have for the figure, but the one thing I really like is the paint job. I think the paint job and the color tones that they've chosen for it are picture perfect and really nice and natural on the figure overall. I'm really happy with the paint scheme they've gone with on this version. So let's go ahead and get a closer look so we can check out the detail up close. So starting up at the head sculpt, my Scutosaurus looks extremely happy, so that is definitely a plus because nobody likes to have a miserable Scutosaurus around. But you can see that the actual detailing of the Scutosaurus looks gorgeous, if you ask me, as far as like the skin texturing and everything goes. You have some kind of spikes up here on the front of the face, as well as all of these other ones that kind of run around the head. Unfortunately, they didn't paint these ones or even these bumps up here on the top or above the eyebrows or anything like that. But these ones do look really nice here as far as the paint work goes. I definitely like that quite a bit, and I think it's a very nice color that they've chosen for those areas because it really plays off of the darker body coloration of the figure overall. The eyes are painted with a yellowish coloration, and then the pupil is just pretty much that darker coloration that is behind it. So it is unfortunate that this far into the line of Mattel, for how many years this line has been out, that we still have quality control issues as far as the eye placement goes. So hopefully they can figure that out, sort that out at some point sooner rather than later, and get that kind of under control, because it is a little disheartening being a collector when you find one that has a poorly painted eye like that. Definitely a bit of a downside in that aspect. But again, the skin texture and everything on the face looks fantastic. You have a nice darker coloration that borders around the eye and then transitions to a nice blue, a very dark blue, and that kind of stripes out and runs all over the face. You can see the detailing as far as like the scale detail and everything on the underside of the jaw looks really nice as well. Even the detailing here in the throat looks really nice. You can actually see the throat right there, which looks extremely cool. I really like that area. You have a nice couple of skin folds going on here in the neck region, a few more beautiful osteoderms and really nice scale work as we move up the neck here up into the upper side. And again, you can see those nice blue stripes that run along the figure and some ridges that run along the spinal column as well. The actual skin texture here, the scaling that runs along the figure is insanely nicely done. Absolutely beautiful. This is definitely another of those figures that I feel like a dark wash would just look incredible on. You can see as we move down into the lower part of the stomach, you have some more of those bumps that kind of are actually littering the entire figure overall. It's pretty much everywhere, but you can see some more kind of like skin folding and everything going on there. As we move down into the front leg, beautiful scale detail as we move down the leg. You do have the elbow present, a few more of those bumps back here, and the foot sculpt looks really nice. As we lead down the leg into the foot sculpt, you have some more kind of skin wrinkles going on right there. Very nice foot sculpt as far as like a scoot-like appearance down the toes. No nail paint, unfortunately, but that's just kind of the way it always works. You have some more kind of skin wrinkling going on right there, just sort of showing the movement of this front leg. As we move into the back of our Scutosaurus, some very nice muscle tone again. Some more of those bumps right here on the back of the leg, as well as down here in the calf region. The Legs look very big and bulky and very muscular, which is definitely a very nice touch. You can see the foot sculpt looks really nice over here. Again, no nail paint, unfortunately. The legs are definitely pretty stiff right now as I haven't moved them around or anything quite yet. And then we get back here into the tail of our Scutosaurus, and that as well looks really nice, very short, like you would expect it to be. And one thing that's really cool is the fact that for the most part on the underside, you can see that that kind of grayish coloration runs almost the entire underside. You don't see that too often from Mattel, so that's definitely a very nice addition to this figure overall. And since we're down here, there is the Jurassic Facts app code if you would like to add this to your collection. But looking at the opposing side, again, you're not going to see really too much difference on this side compared to what we had seen on the previous side, because especially with this, it's almost in a totally neutral position. Just looking at it there, you can really see that even the legs are pretty much almost in the same spot, just the opposing side is a little further forward than what we see over here. But again, that means that it is absolutely beautiful on both sides. I'm really, really impressed with the sculpt on this one, and this is definitely another one that I would love an opportunity to repaint if they could start to show up a little bit more frequently, I guess you could say, or even at all in my area. I would love to pick another one of these up and repaint it. But as far as this Scutosaurus goes, this is an absolutely awesome Savage Strike figure and definitely one of my new favorites. As far as articulation goes, of course, you do have the articulation there in the neck and the tail, which is what activates the Savage Strike action feature of the figure there in the neck. And then you also have articulation in the legs, which are very stiff because I haven't moved them around. But you can see they do go forward and back in the front legs, and they actually do come out away from the body. But again, very, very stiff at this point in time. I think maybe hitting it with a hairdryer or something might loosen that up. But it does articulate in that direction as they usually do. It's just, again, so stiff I don't want to potentially damage the figure by trying to force it right now. The rear legs as well are articulated, also very stiff, and they sort of appeared to come out away from the body a little bit, but not very much. And then you can see, of course, the action feature, which is why the tail articulates. And we're going to just basically move the head back and forth. If we pick it up here, that's the Savage Strike action feature of our Scutosaurus. Nothing super fancy, nothing crazy, but pretty much what you would expect for a Scutosaurus. As far as a size goes, not too much for a length, about the 5.5-inch range or around 14 centimeters. And then for a height, about 3¼ inches or around 8.5 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Dilophosaurus, and Robert Muldoon next to our Savage Strike Scutosaurus, and you can see that this figure is definitely a good bit on the smaller side as far as length and everything goes, but the figure as a whole does sport some pretty decent sizes. It has a bulky look to it, but definitely not your biggest Mattel figure, but not your smallest either. So this Mattel Savage Strike Jurassic World Scutosaurus is an awesome release, and it's been a while since we've had a Scutosaurus in the Jurassic line, as the last one was the Kenner one, oh so long ago. So having this new version from Mattel is definitely very welcomed on my part, and I love Scutosaurus, such a very unique looking creature, and there aren't enough figures of Scutosaurus out there. So again, anytime I can get a new Scutosaurus figure, I am 100% sold. And this version specifically is beautifully done. The sculpt is incredibly nice. As per usual when it comes to Mattel, they usually deliver a very high quality, highly detailed sculpt, and that is no different with this Scutosaurus. The detail is really impressive in every aspect as you look at this. So many nice little osteoderms and bumps and everything, like nice ridges all over the figure. Very nice detailed head sculpt as well. The eye paint is definitely a bit of an eyesore on the right side of the figure, but the left side does have nicer eye paint, so I can always display it from that side out looking from the left. But I mean, I shouldn't have to. It's just kind of what we'll have to do until I can find one with better painted eyes, if I ever even see this in store at all. But again, really nicely sculpted, very cool looking overall. The paintwork as well is definitely nicely done, and I actually love the tones of color that they've used for the figure. It looks extremely natural, specifically like that reddish brown type of a color that is the primary body color. I really, really love that tone of color on this figure, and the way they painted it with those blue stripes and everything, and then the darker coloration around the eye and the way the blue stripes kind of run down the length of the body gives it a little bit of a flashy look, but at the same time, really nice realistic tones overall, so definitely sold completely on the paint scheme as well. And then you of course have the Savage Strike action feature, which is nothing special, nothing amazing, but pretty much what you're going to get when it comes to a Scutosaurus. I guess you can't really ask for too much more than that. And then you take all of that into account with the fact that you have some nice articulation overall in the legs and everything, and you've got yourself one heck of a really nice looking Scutosaurus figure. So if you would like to pick this up, keep checking your local Targets. In my area, they are still very hard to find. Hopefully that will change in the near future, but as of right now, they're definitely a pain to find here in the United States. Or again, you can order the entire case from Amazon Japan, but that'll be a bit of a pricier route to go than finding this figure in store. But one way or another, if you do come across this figure, make sure you pick it up because it is really, really nicely done. Overall, a beautiful Scutosaurus, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.